So I'm going to be checking on the road quite carefully. Hi Debbie in Vancouver. Debbie said, oh, aren't most of the wild dogs denning? Could this be a dispersal pack? It could. It also could be a hunting party from one of the denning packs. And they can cover great distance when they are hunting. So it could also be a hunting party from one of the packs. I haven't seen any tracks yet, and the other thing about wild dogs, you can actually smell them. You smell wild dogs, Vim? I don't smell wild dogs yet. So even after they've passed through an area, you can smell them. They smell sort of like wet dog. But I'm going to keep checking carefully here for these wild dog tracks. While we do that, let's go see what Steph's up to.
Of course Brent is going to be checking for the wild dogs. That type of excitement is what he lives for. But just have a look at this giant of a tree that this elephant has pushed over. I mean, there's a fully grown knobthorn. You know, idea of how thick, well, that root system that you're in the moment, there the taproot is where it was snapped. But just have a look at this massive tree. I mean, I'm just able to touch my fingers on it. There we go. That diameter hardwood tree, I mean, that's from a knobthorn. These things will make an axe blunt in no time. Chainsaw blades, you have to sharpen your chainsaw blade. Every time you cut a section around, you get to about this much, you have to sharpen your chainsaw blade to chop up this guy. Awesome old tree. Of course, I know a lot of you love trees. I also love trees. But in my opinion, it's necessary for these elephants to do what they're doing. They understand, genetically they understand the bush, I feel, a lot better than what we could. And they are doing what they're doing. They're compelled to do what they do for some reason. But this is the first time I've stood in the upper branches of a knobthorn tree. Landmark moment in an almost 2-decade-long career, me standing in the top of a knobthorn. I don't think I've ever been in the top of a knobthorn. Hey, Brian? And I'm only marginally taller than what Brian is at the moment when he's standing on the ground. You know what idea how tall he is. Alright, let's carry on. What a wonderful afternoon. We're coming to this drainage line here. Good afternoon, Ramay. While we're wandering through this thicket over here, you've asked what has happened to all the guinea fowl. That's actually a good question. I see guinea fowl quite a lot. I couldn't tell you where exactly was the last time I saw the last guinea fowl we saw here. They're still here, but you probably find that they are in a much smaller area or a much larger area. Let me just think about what I've just said there. The dry season animals tend to stick to a larger area because they need more area to forage. Those animals that can fly away will fly away, but generally speaking, the rest are all just here, just spread out, having to move quite a lot to find enough food to keep themselves going. So they're here. It'll be easier for you to see them on game drive, and I'm almost wanting to say that we've got a flock of them that hang around Djuma. Hey Brian, do you remember any around Djuma?
Yeah, there was, apparently.
There was, there is. This is an interesting plant. This particular plant underneath the ground, this is a bushman's grape, or one of the grapes, I don't know which one exactly. And underneath the ground is a series of tubers that are connected by roots. So it's a ball of tuber with a root and another ball, and a root and another ball, and so it spreads out all underneath the ground here. And the local witch doctors dig up, or not witch doctors, let me say, the local shamans is probably a better word to use, dig up this plant because they believe that this particular plant ties in all the medicine that they make. So when you're making bush medicine, when they're making bush cures and bush medicine, just for lack, it's disrespectful slightly that term, but when they're making their cures and their concoctions, they always add this plant in. And the theory is that because this has a clump of roots tied together with a bulb tied together with a clump of roots, is that this acts as a binding agent. So when you're using a bit of this plant and a bit of that bark and a bit of this root and some of these leaves, and you've got a bit of magic in there and you're burning it all together, you have to have this plant, otherwise it won't work. Otherwise it'll just be a collection of different medicines that together don't give the cure to you. And it's only this plant that gives you that cure. So finding this plant outside of these reserves is a bonus for any of the shamans. Luckily it's a fairly common plant. You see them almost everywhere. I think that's quite a nice story, don't you? It's a nice story. The Bushman's grape. Alright, let's go and see what's happening in this drainage line here. To give you an idea, let's go and walk over there. To give you an idea how big that last knobthorn is that I showed you. Here's one that's standing. That's roughly the same size. Have a look at that. That knobthorn that I was climbing in now is the same size as that. And I'll prove it by putting my arms around it, and let's see if my fingers can touch. Let me go around. Well, I'm falling all over the place today. Oh no, I think I've overestimated myself. No, my fingers can't touch. This tree's bigger. There we go. In actual fact, this tree's much bigger. The joys of getting a bit older, not really knowing what you're talking about. It looks the same size. I'll put it here. Let's leave it there. Alright. It is a huge knobthorn though. And I got to give it a hug, which was a good thing. I like hugging big old trees. We have now, Debbie, while I'm digging around here in this hole, you've asked me, do guinea fowl have a different call winter to summer? Debbie, I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to say no, probably not. They probably have a breeding and a non-breeding call, and they probably have a whole lot of other calls for alarm. They definitely have alarm calls, and they have contact calls. They have a whole variety of calls. But whether they have calls that are specific to a season, I don't think so. Not in my experience, at least anyway. I'm trying to see if there's any moisture in the bottom of this. This is an elephant well. Elephant where they can dig out fresh water. And I'm trying to see here if there's any water here. Now let's see if the soil, there we go, a little bit. Here's the soil. Now not much. I'd probably have to have quite a big spade to get into the bottom of this, and it's probably why the elephants stopped digging, because they knew that the water was already gone. But have a look at how wonderful that is. Eh? These elephants definitely very clever. All right, let's carry on up and out of here. And have a look at this wonderful sunset with the clouds all over it. That's beautiful. And on that note, I'm going to send you over to Brent, who's got an update for you.
Well, unfortunately, those were not wild dog tracks. They were actually young hyena tracks. So we've rushed. Two of us have rushed here, and unfortunately there were not going to be any wild dogs. but I'm still in the mood for some carnivores. So I am going to try and make my way towards the hyena den before it gets too late. But it's just such glorious light coming through. And there's a male impala who's now steps directly out of the light as we stop. Okay, thank you to you. You were standing in such beautiful light, and now you run away. Okay, hang on, let me get untangled. So we're going to start moving towards the hyena den. Fingers crossed that they're all there. What are you staring at? Are you looking at me? Well, you guys spotted something else. You see how alert they are in this wind. Ah, I think they spotted a francolin in the bush. Just the movement would have made them stop for that little second. And there comes the francolin out of the bush that they were staring at, eating some grass seeds. Wow, this is a big group of kudu. How many do you think we got here, Vivian? There's 1, 2 there, 3, 4, and there's 5. And we go to the right, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that I can see. Wow, what a lovely big group of kudu. It does pay to be alert with all the predators that are about. Bye guys, don't get eaten. Or if you do, wait for me to be there. There's actually more now, 13, 14. Wow. All right, girls. So we're going to hit that hyena den. I'm sure a few of you would think it's a good idea. Hello again, Debbie in Vancouver. Debbie says, hyena den, excellent. I agree, Debbie. Debbie would also like to know, how old will that hyena cub be before it starts coming out regularly? Probably around a month till we regularly see it, with maybe coming out when its mom's not there. But for now, we're only going to be seeing it when its mom's around. Sorry. So just listening, it sounds like they've just found the 2 Birminghams and 2 Nkuhumas, but deep into Buffalo's Hook. I was just trying to get an exact location there. But it was really nice to see Mvula today and see him looking so fat and happy. And Zoe commented, she just loves seeing the old boy Mvula. Yes, he is still a spectacular animal. And he did give us incredible sightings when he was the dominant male on Djuma. Hi, Kyle. And Kyle like, so if it's possible that the Anderson male will start pushing Tingana. And he already did. He's the reason Tingana moved into Mvula's area originally, as Anderson pushed him out of what was his territory. But rather than fight Anderson, Tingana thought it would be better to pick on the old man, and that's what he did. Oh, hello, zebras. Oh, it seems like everything's coming out and about as we get closer to the sunset. Zebra and wildebeest. A single wildebeest. They are just exquisite animals. They do look slightly bemused at times. Of course, the zebras are far more closely related to a donkey than a horse, but of course stem from a similar ancestor. And there's the wildebeest with his back to us. Okay, well, we'll leave the grazers to graze, and hopefully the hyenas will be at home. While we make our way towards the hyena den, let's go see what Steph's up to.
Welcome back to the bushwalk, everyone. I've got some antlines here, and I always like this time of the day to figure out exactly when these antlines stop their activities. Now this looks active, so what I'm doing is there we go, you see that? Come inside here, have a look. Can you see there? And what we'll do is we'll play like we're an ant. Watch here. There we go. Flick, flick, flick. Flicking the sand. How awesome is that? And on the head, they've got this vicious pair of pincers that they grab anything that comes in. Flick, flick, flick. Let's see if we can get him for you. Looks like a big one. So I'll stir up there. There we go. There's his pincers. That's what he was using to flick with. Sitting with his head up. Isn't that awesome? And basically getting enough energy to metamorphosize into a thing that looks very similar to a dragonfly. Can you believe it? So do yourself a favor. There you go, so you can see him now looking. They dig one of their pits very quickly. He'll be able to dig his hole, redig his hole very quickly again. I'm actually going to put him back in the same one. So don't worry about what I did. These guys live in the sand. They need to be able to cope with animals and elephants stepping on their pieces of patch. So there we're going to put him in his hole. And he very quickly will dig up that again. But do yourself a favor and go and have a look at what an antlion turns into. They turn into the most unbelievable flappy dragonfly. They would call them, they're not damselflies, they're just antlions, antlion adults. But to go from that little guy there, that's a terror, subterranean terror, to a flappy, nocturnal, beautiful dragonfly type thing is quite a remarkable metamorphosis. Oh, it's turning into a lovely evening. MG Photography. It's an interesting name. You've just asked me when was the last time I saw a kingfisher. That's a good question there, MG Photography. Give me a while to think about when the last time is I saw a kingfisher. I heard a striped kingfisher last weekend. That's what, not this weekend now, the weekend before that. I haven't seen a brown-hooded kingfisher or a striped kingfisher, which are the only kingfishers barring a pied kingfisher and the giant kingfisher, which are still here. So a while back, let's say I heard one 2 weeks ago. The last time I saw a kingfisher was probably about 2 months ago. And that's because where we are now in the Lowveld is just way, way, way too dry for the insects that these birds need. And birds have wings, and because they have wings, they fly away. And I would imagine that they are in areas which have a little bit more grass, which have a little bit more water. So malachite kingfishers, pied kingfishers, and giant kingfishers would move to the water, and striped kingfishers and brown-hooded kingfishers would move to thicker bush that has a higher grass load that supports more insects at this time of year. And I have no doubt that they've moved over to those patches there. So good question, actually. It's a nice observation. It's like an observation James made a couple of weeks ago, months ago now, about how there have been so few cuckoos this year. Cuckoos came in, it didn't rain, and they left again. Then we had a little bit of rain, and the cuckoos came back, and then they left again. So nice. Yes, Brent's definitely having a large mammal day. He's just let me know that he's got a tawny surprise for you. Enjoy that. Gee.
Look at that, sun setting. We were on our way to the hyena den. I just said to Vim, I cannot see a single impala on quarantine. And we started looking, and there's 3 lionesses. I'm not sure who they are. I know there's 2 lionesses in Buffalo's Hook at the moment. So I think it could be the other 3 Nkuhuma girls. But I'm not 100% sure. This is very, very interesting. I mean, we have had no lion tracks on the property today. Only those tracks we've had leaving this morning, but none in this western and central area. But it's so funny. The lioness was looking up over the grass, otherwise we might have missed her. Wow. Who do you think they are, Vim? Nkuhumas? Yeah, I think Nkuhumas as well. I'm just going to move around so we can have a look at their faces. Maybe we'll see the amber-eyed lioness. Andrew, what's your position? Andrew, there's 3 Wansati Ngala on quarantine. I think so. I've just seen them now. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm just going to... Look at that. Where did you girls come from? Did you sneak through from the north in this windy weather today? They're looking relatively well fed. Isn't this exciting? Vim and our plans have changed. It's definitely getting to the right time of the day when they might move. I think, depending on where Steph is, he might need a lift home. Isn't this exciting? Lions! Now, I don't think Vim and I were expecting lions at all. No, not at all. But that's the most incredible thing. We are live in the African bush. You cannot predict what's going to happen next. Now, I'd love to see the bellies of all 3. Can only see the belly of that one who's just slightly looking at us there through the grass. And she doesn't look like she is lactating. And it's going to be difficult to see if she's just full, possibly pregnant. Jenny says none look pregnant, but Jenny, remember, some might have given birth. So we actually need to see them standing up and have a look at their nipples to tell. And also, it's very difficult to judge the weight of a lioness lying down. So once they're standing up, you'll be able to see where the weight is, and that'll be able to tell us whether they're pregnant or not. So the weight seems to sit a little bit further back on a pregnant female than it does on a male. Oh, they're on a non-pregnant female. Males, of course, can't get pregnant. Lex. No, young. Not at all. Most adult lionesses will carry spots through to, or will carry spots throughout their life. They're just far more pronounced when they're cubs, and the reason they have those spots as cubs is to make them less easy to find. So when they're hidden by their mothers, those spots help them blend into the bush. They're very, very flat cats at the moment. Can you just be on the radio for a second? Standing by. Over from western side of quarantine. I have no idea where they came from. I didn't see any Nkuhuma this morning or this afternoon. Taxon says they come from nowhere. The magical flying lines of Djuma. Very tired kitty. I'm just going to move around a bit. I want to just see if we can move and get a look at her tummy. No, she's tightening into a ball from the wind. Well, that's not really going to help us see if you've had babies, madam. No, she's very much in a kitty cat ball there. This looks like amber eyes, don't you think, Liam? Yes, I think it is. It is amber eyes. Let's go forward a bit so that bush is out of the way. There we go. There we go. That's amber eyes. She's got the most exquisite eyes when she decides to open them, of course. Now, to give you an idea of exactly where we are, I'm going to ask VM to zoom out now from the sleeping kitty cat. Let's go wide. Okay, so the DRC is right there, and then you can actually see the final control antenna from where we're sitting. Go ahead. Affirm, 3 females. But while we sit with the sleeping cats, let's go across to Steph with another type of predator.
Let's go and find her. Sorry. We said we need to show you this little bird of prey, and then it flew away as you were crossing, but it's landed just there. Come with. Let's see if we can find him for you. I think this little bird, it's either a little banded goshawk or a little sparrowhawk. They both generally hunt quite small birds and insects mainly, and I'm just hoping that we can get to show you them. They're for me some of the best little birds around because they're so fierce. They just got this energy about them, this flitting energy. Let's see where he landed over here. Just flew through these bushes, probably sitting watching us in this tree right now. Let's see if I can see him. They're not too scared about landing on the ground. Generally these little birds of prey that hunt over here are hunting blue waxbills, are hunting the little Cameropteras, the little Prinias that are around here. But for the life of me, cannot find him. Let's see if we could go here. Probably walked straight past him, knowing my bad eyesight. But we don't waste too much of your time with us. Have a look at that sunset through those trees. That is by far a much prettier sight than watching the back of my shiny bald head search for a bird that is in all likelihood flown straight away. It's pretty, eh? A sort of peachy coloured sky. Been quite a cloudy day today. We've got a cold front come in. The nice thing about the cold front is by the time it gets here, it's not actually that cold. It actually brings the temperature down to a bearable temperature. When it's sunset, I'm still walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. Whereas when this particular cold front hit the country, it caused so much rain in the Western Cape that dams rose 5%. Can you believe it? That the dams on average in the Western Cape, which is right on the southern point of South Africa, rose 5% with just this cold front that's hitting us now. No rain, unfortunately, here. This is the very dry Lowveld. But as you can see from my attire, not too cold at all, which is exactly how I like it. I can't get cold. It's something that I've never been able to get used to and can't stand. I'm definitely a bushman's bushman. I enjoy the hot, dry weather. Right, let's carry on going. We're not going to waste our time looking for that little bird anymore. While we meander through the giant trees that are on top of quarantine, getting back to where we stay before those lionesses start hunting us on top of quarantine. Wouldn't that be a sight? No. Brian. Liz, there's no one picking us up at the moment. We are walking home. I'm not too worried about lions on an open area while we've still got some light. That will change substantially as the minutes grow towards darkness. We'll still walk back to camp. Lions generally in the day leave people behind. It's only really at night time that they get their bravery increases. Not that they needed more bravery, these lions, but their bravery towards humans increases dramatically. And lions become quite inquisitive at night time. I remember quite fondly one of the wilderness camps I've been in. I was snuggled up in my sleeping bag in a riverbed and I felt some sand tickling my head. And when I looked up, there was a lioness staring down at me on top of this embankment. And I quickly rounded up everyone and we sat huddled together next to the fire. And this lioness walked down this game path, literally walked right up to us on the other side of the fire, promptly ate one of my guests' piece of meat that he had on a plate next to the fire, and then knocked my coffee over. And then that gave her a fright. It was warm coffee, and she ended up leaving after that. Needless to say, I slept like a baby that night, knowing full well that 8 people were keeping watch for me for the rest of the night, wide awake. Wonderful memory that. All right. Okay, now so we need to start making our way into the darkness and away from these lions. I'm going to send you over to Brent. He's not too far away. You might even get to see us in the back of his car. He's there somewhere. See you later.
So the lions haven't moved much at all. They're still snoozing on the western edge of the quarantine clearings. And Steph's not too far away from us on his way home. Hi, Friendly Frank. And Friendly Frank's a relatively new viewer. Only been watching for 2 weeks, and this is the first lions Friendly Frank has seen. And Friendly Frank would like to know how many lions are in the park And do they have names like the leopards? Oh, what's that? A bird of prey. I can't really see. It was a bit quick. Turn for me. I don't know what that was. It was just, didn't get a good visual before it disappeared. Looked like probably a brown snake eagle, but it was a bit quick. Sorry about that, friendly Frank. And here we go. I didn't open. So the lions, we don't refer to them generally as individuals unless there's something really distinct. Like that one lioness in this pride has the amber eyes. We normally refer to the prides, and this is the Nkuhuma pride, which is named after a tree. The first time they were ever seen was under a brown ivory tree, which is in Shangaan, an Nkuhuma tree. But in terms of how many lions we have, so I'm just getting my nocturnal lights, there we go, just adding a bit more light for VM to work with there. This pride at the moment consists of 5 lionesses and 3 cubs, 3 confirmed cubs. And this is the main pride we see on Safari Live. We do also see another pride of lions called the Styx pride, and they consist at the moment of 3 females. I think it was 11 cubs last count, but I could be wrong on that. And the male lions we see most regularly. There's a coalition of male lions called the Birmingham Boys, and there are 4 of them at the moment. There were 5. 1 died from injuries it got while hunting buffalo. Now, every now and then we see a couple of other prides, the Tsalala pride, the Mungen pride, but we don't see them too often. They're really in the peripheries around Arathusa. We sometimes see them. But in terms of the Sabi Sands, in total, there's probably just under 100 lions in the whole reserve. Oh, so I'm just listening to the radio now. These 3 lionesses have caused great confusion because everyone assumed those lionesses and Buffalo's Hook were the Nkuhuma ladies, but now they think they might not be. So there you go, a different set of lions, possibly the Talamati or Torchwood prides. I've seen the Talamati pride once. I've never seen the Torchwood pride, but very interesting. So we know for a fact that one of these lionesses has 3 cubs in a den in Torchwood. Ooh, morning. Now this is a good sign. We want to start seeing some stretching, scratching, yawning. That's the precursor to the moving. Oh, big yawn. Oh, wonderful. Now, Bugsy's wondering, does the terrain change and weather change in winter change the hunting times for the predators? They do. They tend to get going a little bit earlier, but not too much, Bugsy. They're still opportunists, and they will take any opportunity, whether it be at midnight or 12 midday. But generally, the time they will hunt is from now. We'll focus on hunting from any time from now on to the first 2 hours beyond darkness. And then again, a similar time in the early morning. But they do hunt throughout the night if they are really hungry. Another yawn coming. Now this looks to be the youngest lioness. To me, it's starting to get hard to tell her apart from the others. She's getting big. She has been seen pseudo-mating with the Birmingham boys. But we're going to stay here, see what these lions get up to. And Steph should be nearly home, so he's going to say goodbye. And we'll be back shortly.
I am almost home. Thank you very much, Brent. So we're all safe and sound. We can actually see the vehicles down there. We'll close off by saying, I just want to say thank you very much for a wonderful afternoon with you. We've had a fantastic day, to be quite honest with you. I had a nice question with that Birchall's glossy starling, which I still think is the reason for those millipede segments in that nest. That was the quiz of the day. And then tracking that male leopard through that bush today was something quite spectacular, I must be honest. There you can see the lions over my shoulder. I'll show you that. Not going to zoom in too deep. I don't quite know who's on the back of those vehicles, but I can see the aerial sticking out there. We're probably standing about 250 yards away from the lions and about 100 yards away from our camp. So we're not too far away from safety. I doubt that it's that time of the day yet where they'll be hunting people too badly, but I definitely am not going to be wandering out of the campsite to phone my wife later. I think I'll try and do that from James's tree, which is in the middle of our staff village, and he climbs it to get the necessary height that he needs to make the phone calls that he does. I think there's wisdom in what Mr. Henry does there. While we make our way back off to the camp, come along. Alrighty, and Brent's ready to receive you for his part, the rest of the safari, and I just want to say cheers, Brian, thank you very much for all your hard work. There we go. All the best, see you next time.
Well, we're going to stick with these lions. I'm hoping they're going to move shortly. And remember, if you are a new viewer, and you want to ask us anything about the Nkuhuma ladies, you can do that by using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, or send us an email to questions@wildearth.tv. Only one lioness is starting to show sort of signs of getting moving. I'm hoping the others follow suit quite shortly. Now, yes, I think she's going to get up and go greet the other females. Now, she definitely looks a bit more hungry than the other lioness, and I am quite sure it is the youngest lioness. And quite often we'll just flop down on the other lions, try to convince them it's time to get moving. Now, we're going to see some, oh, there we go, some nice stretching, hopefully. Some aloe grooming. Now, grooming between pride members is very important. And it helps strengthen the bonds of the pride, but there we go. Or you can offer yourself up as a pillow instead. I'm just going to move the vehicle around a little bit to make it a bit easier for them. And we're going to go around the long way to the other side. What do you think, Vim? Vim likes journeys. There we go. Hi, Jean. Jean's in North Carolina. Jean would like to know how far are these lions from the Djuma dam camp. Well, Jean, not far at all, probably 200-300 meters at the most. I'm quite certain if they are thirsty, they probably will pop in there. Here we go, second lioness showing a little, oops, sorry, my head in the way there, showing a few signs that they might get moving. Now, of course, we've all spent many, many hours, those of you who've been on Safari Live with us for a while, sitting next to sleeping cats, but playing the patience game is worthwhile with big cats.
So he does have that. Right, so they'll be on their computers and then they'll log on.
So, here we go. Back to snoozing. Hi, Romy. Romy's in Ohio. Romy would like to know if the female only mates with one of the male lions in the male lion coalition. Will the cubs be in danger from the other members of the coalition? They won't, Romy. Those cubs should be perfectly safe. It's the only time they'd really be in danger if there was a pride takeover or they happened to come across some nomadic male lions. Now, they aren't very, very comfortable at the moment. I don't think they're going to be doing too much moving. Well, a big Safari Live welcome to Brock in Pennsylvania. And Brock's wondering, do we ever see male lions without manes? Well, Brock, it is possible. I haven't ever seen a maneless male lion in this part of the world. I've seen them in southern Tanzania before. And of course, some of the more famous maneless male lions around were the man-eaters of Tsavo. And those male lions, Hollywood even got involved with and made a movie about, very loosely based on the truth. They even created a new character that doesn't exist in the book. The basic story about that is the colonial government, the English colonial government, started building a railway line. It was often referred to as the suicide line. Now, it was called that because it was deemed absolutely suicidal to build a railway line from the Kenyan coast all the way to Lake Victoria. And at one particular point on this, they got held up by the building of a bridge. And while they were building this particular bridge, there was an outbreak of man-eating lions. Now, these man-eating lions were probably more than the two that is said that there were. And there was a British engineer, or in the engineering corps, and he was the one who eventually shot them, not after they killed, estimated of just under 100 people. It was two young male lions, maneless as well. And if you live in the US, you can actually go see the man-eaters of Tsavo. They're in the Chicago Field Museum. So any of our viewers in Chicago, you want to go look at the most famous man-eating lions in Africa, go have a look. They're on display in Chicago. Now, generally, lions are not man-eaters. It's normally old or injured or young ones that become man-eaters. And actually some of the more famous man-eaters in the world actually in South Africa. Now, we are on the western edge of the Kruger National Park. The eastern edge of the Kruger National Park is the country of Mozambique, and it was in civil war for many, many years. And it caused a lot of people to try flee the civil war, and the refugees and that would try, and illegal immigrants would try and jump on Majozi, jump to Johannesburg. And they would use the Kruger National Park. And in certain areas, prides of lions took to hunting the people as they crossed the park trying to get out of the war-torn Mozambique. Still happens today with illegal immigrants, believe it or not. And it's estimated that along the whole couple of 100-kilometer boundary of the Kruger, anything from 50 to 100,000 people have been eaten by lions since the 60s. Scary stuff. But of course, when we're on safari, as you can see, these lions completely oblivious to us in the vehicles. Now, the reason those illegal immigrants and refugees were eaten is because they were moving around at night. During the day, a lion will run away from you 99.99% of the time you walk into them. They are actually during daylight hours, they're quite big chickens, especially the males. Nighttime is a different thing. We have evolved alongside lions. We have evolved to be the dominant diurnal predator. Lions are the dominant nocturnal predator. That's why you want to get home when it gets dark, because you know there's bad things out there. Now that's an instinctive response from when we used to live in caves. At the moment, we just have a lion pow. Now, out of all the big cats, lions are probably the least big of the man-eaters, or least well-known of the man-eaters. Probably the most famous man-eating cat is a tiger. A tiger, be day or night, man falls into his realm, his sphere of prey. Now, Sandy is wondering, do lions ever worry about scorpions and things? Not really, Sandy. I think they probably get stung a few times in their life, but most scorpions out here, even if they sting us, it's just very painful. It's like a bee sting that doesn't go away and becomes very itchy. There's very few actual dangerous scorpions, and the only dangerous scorpion that occurs in this part of the world is a Parabethus transvolicus. And I've never actually seen one in the Sabi Sands. I've seen plenty in the Kruger and in the Timbavati, but never ever in the Sabi Sands. But then, these lions are not looking like they're going to move too soon, but we definitely have to play the patience game. You never know, there could be some animals around the pan. So if we have a closer look at the back of their ears, you'll notice they're nice and dark, very, very black. Now, that is a following mechanism for cubs. They've also got a black tip to their tail. Now, there's very interesting studies being done at the moment by actually a few people I know, and they're looking at the visual significance of visual signs in big cats, or particularly in cooperative hunting in lions. So I truly believe, having watched lions for as many years as I have, that they do take visual cues from each other during the hunt rather than audio cues which might give away their presence. So definitely judging on what the other animal's doing, how the ears move, maybe how the tail moves, the lions definitely react to that. Of course, at the moment they're reacting to nothing. They're not even moving a muscle. Apart from the little flick of the ear, the last few little annoying biting flies around. Now I'm being put under the cosh by Genevieve. Hi, Genevieve. Genevieve's in New York. And Genevieve said, I've seen so much in my life. If I had to nail down one sighting to say this is Africa, what would it be? Genevieve, I'm going to have to say that's impossible. I mean, Africa is such a diverse place, and the animals are so diverse, and there's so many different things out here that I would say I couldn't ever do one sighting. I mean, you've got gorillas to lions to elephants to chimpanzees to whales, hippopotamus and okapi, Congo peacocks. There's so many endemic and inedible species to Africa. I don't think I could ever nail down one sighting to say this is Africa. But I think when you're with any of the iconic species, and male lion roaring is probably definitely one of the things that screams, this is Africa, and the whole car starts vibrating. Having a big elephant bull stand over you and know this massive animal, oh, we got some movement on the lions, that this massive animal could, if it wanted to at any time, completely pulverize you. It chooses not to. And that's it. This is Africa. Even this, and seeing these intimate moments between these three lionesses as they snooze and cuddle on a cold winter's evening. This is Africa. I see, Genevieve, I think I could probably keep going for 10 years with little anecdotes like that. Isn't it? See the strength of the wind, the grass moving around. Now, these little intimate sessions between lionesses are very important for the survival of the pride. And the closer knit team they are, the more likely the pride is to survive. Now, the one on her back cuddling is, I think it's Amber Eyes. Yes, it is Amber Eyes, if I remember correctly from how they were lying earlier. Hi Zoe. Zoe's wondering if it's noticeable, do the big cats sleep more during the winter months? I would say the opposite, Zoe. They sleep more during the summer months. When it's cool, they're able to move around, but when it's hot, they can't move around. They battle to diffuse heat. So if their core body temperature even raises by a few degrees, that's the end of a lion's life. So during the hot summer months, they're less likely to move around and push that core body temperature. And you'll see, if you keep watching Zoe, how uncomfortable they are in summer. And they just sit there panting. And they just look really, really uncomfortable. Oh, so I'm just going to get my blanket out. It's getting quite chilly for my legs. Oh, we have movement. Some rolling. This is all good stuff. I would like to see signs that are a bit more energetic, but this is how it starts. You can see really nice hunting weather for them. Cloud cover overhead, good strong wind. And hopefully these ladies will have some success this evening. Now, the thing is, what's incredible, these lions will go flat like this to literally action stations in a split second. There could be a buffalo that wanders on. I did see tracks of a herd of buffalo that came on to Djuma, sort of due south of us, almost exactly where we had Karula's tracks crossing out. And Mike in Florida is wondering, when was the last time we saw Junior? Now, for those who don't know, Junior is the young male who used to be part of this pride. So when males get to about 3 years old, they're pushed out of the pride and they need to go find their own space. And they normally wander around for a few years. Sometimes they will join up with other males to form coalitions. Sometimes they take the sneaky option and sort of mate on the peripheries and never really hold a home range or a territory. But Junior, I'm not sure when the last time he was seen. Mike, to be honest, it was a couple of weeks ago on Sibambili. What have you seen, Vim? I saw Vim suddenly looking this way, so I was hoping he might have spotted a wildebeest or a buffalo or something. Moving on, those zebra and wildebeest we saw weren't too far from here. So you can see there's the quarantine clearings. And there's often animals that move up onto those clearings to sleep at night because it's more open and they've got a better chance of being able to stay away from the lions and spot them from a distance. Isn't that incredible? Right on our sort of back door, 3 lioness. Not very active lioness, but nevertheless, they are definitely lions. Look at that. I was just keeping quiet there for a second. I was trying to listen and see if I could hear any potential prey species around. Now, if we do have a lot of first-time viewers with us, or relatively new viewers who haven't been on a lion hunt just yet. Now, if the lions are hunting at night, and this is the same for any of the predators, excuse me, we won't keep the lights on. So if we see them go into stalk mode, we switch off the lights. So we don't want to give away the lion's position, and we also don't want to blind the animals and make it easier for the lions to catch them. We're here to observe, not to interfere. Now, we can see that very distinct little white streak on the base, or paler streak, it's not really white, on the base of that lioness's eye. Now, that's to help her capture the ambient light. So lions are not true, they can't truly see in the dark. They have incredible night vision, but it only works if there's ambient light from the stars and the moon or clouds. So they can't see within the absence of light. Oh, there we go. Some rolling. So that female looks like she's actually eaten, and the other two not so much. Now they could have been split from each other and only recently joined up again. So here, there's some wonderful screenshots coming out. Remember to share those with us. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or on our Facebook page, Safari Live. And I know you all have wonderful groups as well, the Djuma Junkies, Safari Live, Vidin Pics. So please keep sharing all those wonderful screenshots and videos that you guys make from the live drives. Hi, well, another question from Roger in Tampa. Hi, Rog. Rog would like to know, do these local lions ever attempt small elephants? I've never seen it, Rog. It's always possible, but a lot of behavior, like lion behavior, is area specific rather than animal specific. So the lions here tend to focus more on buffalo, giraffe, zebra, and anything smaller than that. And the only place that lions are really famous for focusing on elephants is in northern Botswana, along the Savuti, Kwondo and Chobe areas. Now there are a lot of elephants there. You can see easily in our first hour of game drive, you can see 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 elephants without pushing yourself too much. Now in certain areas, when the dry season comes, a lot of the other prey species move away, and only the elephants are around. And there have been prides of lions that have learnt basically how to hunt, and not only small elephants, I mean 14, 15, 16-year-old elephant bulls, but it is incredible. Very big prides as well. And it's amazing, as soon as the Savuti channel started flowing again, and so I thought I heard something, I think, and the Savuti marsh filled up again. And that kept zebra and impala and lechwe and sesame and other animals close around that area. Those prides split into smaller prides again and stopped hunting elephants. Oh, we had a head movement. Come on, ladies, time to get up. Oh, there we go, yawn. I mean, it's possible they've moved a big distance during the day today. There we go. The more yawns we see, the more likely they are to move shortly. Now, of course, we're on a live safari, So we can't poke them with a stick, get them going, or cut to the next exciting bit. We've got to play the patience game. But we are able to now witness lion behavior in real time. I mean, you are watching these lions at the same time as me. Oh, big yawn. There was a little bout of yawning there, and I feel it might not have been quite enough. Oh, yes, head up. That's what we need. We like heads up. Oh, yawn coming. Another one on the ground. Paw to the face. And a stretch and a back to sleep. Oh, let's move around to the one who's grooming. Hi, Jason. And Jason says that pose could fool you into thinking that they're quite friendly. And Jason, during the day, they scaredy cats, and at night, they're very brave cats. So it's actually almost like they're different animals during day and night. The other thing is during the day, because it's so much warmer, they aren't able to get rid of a lot of their heat. So that's another reason that they are more nocturnal. How's that, VM? So like all cats, lions are avid groomers. And being social cats, they practice allo grooming, which is when they groom each other. And most allo grooming will take place on the face and the back of the neck, where they're unable to reach themselves. So evolutionary, there's a couple of evolutionary reasons for this. One is probably because they were not able to groom there themselves. And secondly, for the bringing in the closeness of the pride. That's the female. It looks like she might have eaten a bit more than the other two. Cecilia says Tuesday snooze day. Yes, well, these lions are definitely snoozing or having a scratch. Now, lions are full of parasites, fleas, ticks, mites, tapeworms, fluke worms, all sorts of nasty creatures. So even though they look quite clean, they are quite smelly. And the last place you really want to be is downwind from a lion after a large meal of buffalo. Cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. The other two are snoozing, snoozing, snoozing. Lion logs in the background. Oh, lovely shot, VM. Hi, Mike. Mike is in Florida, and Mike's wondering, do we have any plans for night drives in the near future? Oh, you're going to have to watch this space, Mike. We might be testing some fun equipment in the next short while. So, yes, there are plans to take to the darkness. lion is making that? It's just snoring. Almost sounded like a growl, but it's a snore. Lazy creature. I was like, why no one looks like they're growling, but there was literally a snoring lion. Oh no, don't do that. No, no. Oh. There we go, there's some aloe grooming happening. Not too much though. Oh, there we go, a little bit more movements. Oh, I love it when they stretch. Just look at that, it's so exquisite. Someone's hit a switch. I wonder if they've... Oh, jeepers. There's an impala that has just run straight into the lions. I've got to go all lights off. Sorry, Vim. There's an impala running almost straight towards us. Now, I'm just going to shine on the ground here, Vim, so you can just have a look how those lionesses have changed and how quickly. Just you can see their body language. Okay. That's a very silly impala. He's stopped probably exactly where VM's showing you there, but you can't really see. But if VM comes out, he's just on the other side of that tree, that marula tree there. And that's the thing about this, with this wind, that the impala sense of smell is compromised, its sense of hearing is compromised. And I mean, an impala would be quite a small meal for these three, but they would take it. They are opportunists. So the impala is moving away from them now. He hasn't seen them, otherwise he'd be snorting. Yeah, they got a lioness, but you can't really see it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lioness literally just off my bonnet. There she is. There's just that light patch you can see there. That's her moving towards the impala. I can just make them out with my eyes, and I can't see the impala anymore. It's gone into some bushes. I'm going to try and describe what's happening. And there is just a slight bit of ambient light that my eyes can still see, and I'm afraid the camera can't pick up. So there's one lioness right here. The other two are still just behind my head from where you are. The wind's got stronger. The lions are going, and they're moving quite quickly now. Two of the lionesses are moving towards where that last saw that impala. There's a bush between them. They're using the bush. So, sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just watching and trying to just eke out the last little bit of light with my eyes. And they're probably about 30 yards, no, 30 feet, 40 feet from me. The last place I saw the impala was probably 60, so they've covered half the distance. And they're still going. It was a male impala, by the way. Now, if they do catch it, I do warn any of our sensitive viewers, this will be very graphic. 3 lionesses on an impala will be a big fight, and they'll rip it open quite quickly. So just, if you are a little bit sensitive, just beware that there might be some graphic images shortly. This is why you play the patience game. Now, one lioness is still lying right in front of the vehicle. I'm just going to use the base. Okay, I can't see, so that light view. And the one lioness is now moving off. There we go, now I can see. Sorry about the dark, but with the light on, I just can't see what's going on. Now, the lioness is basically moving straight towards where Fireside Chat was. So there we go, towards that marula tree. She was just behind that tree the last time I saw her. And I'm only seeing her when she moves now because it's so dark. So I've only got visual of one lioness VM. Can you see the others yet? Still? Negative, yeah. So there's one, the youngest lioness looks like she's... I'm just going to do a quick sweep with the spotlight so it doesn't... Okay. There's one lioness. I can only see two lionesses. The third is gone off to the east of us. We're either going to hear that snort of an impala who's spotted a predator, or we'll hear a sort of like a big tackle. Imagine a thumping football tackle. That's the sort of sound you can imagine me listening for. Now, with an animal as small as an impala, it's very unlikely it'll make any noise before the lioness gets it under control. Okay, I'll do another quick flash. One lioness is up. I'm just going to move away from where this one's lying in front of me. I'm just going to put myself in a position that if anything happens, we'll be in the right spot. And I really wish we could show this to you, but as I say, we don't want to affect the outcome here. And thanks very much, Jen, who's in Minnesota. And, oh, it's over. All the snorting just happened. She's been spotted. Her body language has changed. An impala spotted her. So, good news is, for those of you who like watching the Djuma dam cams, that's where she's heading at the moment. Now, is there anything at the pan at the moment? I'd love to know. Let me know. Is there anything at the Djuma pan at the moment? And if there is, you can let me know. Let me just get on the radio. Stations is 3-1 Satyangala and now mobile. Northeast through the middle of quarantine. Copy, they're going to pretty much go, I think, straight down between Yuri and Vertella at the rate where they're going at the moment. So if you have a look just beyond the lights there's the lucky impala who spotted her. And you can see now, once she's been spotted, she gives up. Her body language changes and she's on the march. And the others should be coming up behind us. So she looks like she might. We're going to pass very close to Fireside Chat. That's Fireside Chat there. There's the lion. I just want to get up ahead to have a look if there are any other animals on quarantine. We will come back to her now. And let's just have a look what's up ahead. Okay. Looks like there's nothing else on quarantine this evening. Apart from the single lucky impala. There we go. That was so exciting. Oh, she nearly got to that impala before he spotted her. That's why a lot of the animals like to choose these open areas like this to sleep at night. It makes it that little bit harder for the lions to stalk up to them. Okay, she's walking straight past us. And there's no other animals around on quarantine, so I think we're going to give them a chance to hunt without us hampering them. Not that I think we were, but it'll be quite nice for them to just go off, and we'll try follow up in the morning to see what happened, whether they caught something, whether they're successful, or whether they'll still be on the hunt on the sunrise safari. There's the second lioness coming. Aren't they just the most incredible big cats? Oh, a bit of phlegm and grimace. She's smiling at you for the end of the show. She's saying goodbye. I'll see you all tomorrow. And so will VM and myself and the rest of the Safari Live crew. It's been great. Lion and leopards on this sunset safari, and a little bit of excitement of a hunt at the end. Now, those two are smelling urine and giving you their funny faces. And you're not going to see my funny face till tomorrow morning. So see you in a few short hours for the sunrise safari.